It's your Bocce 2007 getting back at you. We've got a live from our friend DeeDee here. That's her channel. It's just DeeDee. You can look her up if you're not already familiar with her. She does good work. And let's see what this caller who called up, Ripples in Waves. Let's see what she's talking about.
Shit was crazy. It was like, it's like I don't know, the relationship stuff. I think I do kind of agree with the last caller was saying. I
Yeah.
think, people come in with these preconceived notions and they're like, oh, I want this, I want that, and it's got to be exactly like that. But, when you get to a certain age, people are people, and nobody's exactly how you picture them to be. People come broken, people come with baggage from time to time.
Tell modern women that, but they got their list. You got to conform exactly to their list, or there's a big problem. But let's see what else she's talking about.
Hmm.
So, you know, especially the older I get, I'm realizing that, like, when you're a little girl, especially, they feed you that what I call fairy tale bullshit. They be real quick
Yeah.
to feed you that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
About like how you should act as a woman, or you should
Hmm.
plan.
Act, act. There's a T on the end of that word. Throughout her whole time on here, she kept saying act. It's not ACK. It's ACT. Act. I just, that was just too annoying. I'm sorry.
Your wedding and all this. And then as
Hmm.
you grow up and stuff like that, you realize like, oh, the fairy tale said I should find me a Prince Charming that was like 6'3" and bald headed and chocolate and all of this. And I'm like, but living in Atlanta, they got them out here, but those men are looking for the same thing. They looking for somebody that's 6'3", chocolate bald head. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
wait.
So you know what I'm saying?
I wasn't expecting you to say that, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
get it.
So I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
goodness.
okay, so I was just like, okay, what I've learned through this process is like, I think when in terms of dating, which I'm choosing not to date right now, just to focus on other stuff. But I'm
Okay.
like, I think people just have to have. I mean, everybody should go in there knowing what you want and having an
Yeah.
idea of what you want. But my thing is like, I think you kind of have to have an open mindset too when you date. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be like, oh well, she wear like orange nail polish, man. That's a deal breaker for me, and I don't like that.
If the orange nail polish is these raptor nails, that's a deal breaker for every man. Should be a deal breaker for every single one of us out here. You you see the stripper nails? That's a wrap. Point blank. Period. Not because they're orange, but because they're stripper nails. But including the orange stripper nails, that's a wrap.
Like
Right.
crazy
Right. Right.
shit.
Right.
Like people will find
Yeah.
anything. I
Yeah.
the last guy I dated was like a Jamaican man, and we dated for a little bit, right?
Hmm.
And he got like this promotion, and he wanted me to move to a whole nother state, and
Right.
hadn't even been dating that long, right? And like, so because I wasn't like jumping up to like, you know, run and uproot my life, he was
Hmm.
finding like small shit to break us up,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know? And I thought
To make
number
an
one that,
excuse for it. Right.
yeah. And number one, I thought that
Yeah.
was mad childish. And
Hmm.
then for us to be as grown as we are. And then number two, I was like, in the whole point of being in a relationship is about compromise. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean,
Yeah.
don't you think that's a big part of a relationship though?
Oh,
Compromise?
oh yeah. I talk about it all the time. You have to you have to compromise. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to do in a relationship. You can't go into it thinking that you're going to always get your way. You know what I mean? You got to understand that you're dealing with a whole nother person, and they're going to have wants and needs just like you have wants and needs, and y'all got to be able to meet in the middle. Like,
Okay, let's go back and rewind a few things. But let's start with what DeeDee is talking about right here. Of course, what she's saying in the abstract is totally true. Of course, right? Two people in a relationship must compromise with one another. That's fine. But we have to look at this circumstance. And a man is coming to the table with what women say they want. They want a man to provide. And check how the woman, Ripples and Waves, gives her story about the man wants her to move into him, in with him where he's going, where he's moving to take a promotion. So a couple of things here. They always want a man who's ambitious. He's ambitious. He needs to be climbing. He needs to be achieving. He needs to be going somewhere. This brother's doing that. He's going somewhere. He's literally going somewhere because he got promoted up the corporate chain. All right. And also, she doesn't make the point, but it can easily be inferred that this guy was willing to pay for her, to allow her to come live off of him. Because if he's asking her to move, then he's not worried about her job. He's not worried about her income. That means he was willing to take care of her. What do they always want again? Got to be a provider male. You should pay for everything, or you should pay at least the majority of everything. And this guy is obviously willing to do that. Yet he's still a problem. Look at all the, and we'll see as she continues all the other problems with him that he is, but leaves out anything where he's fulfilling all of what women say that they want. Right. All of the modern women particularly say that they want. Uh, and then there were a couple of things that I wanted to rewind back to that I let go so that we could have some play for a while without me talking. When she says, right now she's not dating because she's just focusing on her other things in her life. Where have we seen this before? Where have we heard this before? We hear this all the time. So this is a woman who I don't think she didn't say how old she was, but you can infer from her conversation and discussion that this is not exactly a spring chicken, and she's willing to sit at home, be unintentional. She's not worried about a man. She's worried about everything else in life, but she'll pop up here at the end of her road at 35, 40, and talking about where did all the good men go? Well, he went to take his corporate job from his promotion that he invited you to go along with him, and you didn't go. So that's where he went. And then there was another point I was going to bring up, but maybe I should write stuff down while I'm listening because I forgot what it was. But we'll keep going to hear what else Ripples and Waves has for us.
Compromise on certain things. Certain things, he may, get a bit more of, and certain things you get a bit more of. It's like you got to meet in the middle. You got to understand that it's not all about you,
Sometimes I
and
feel like these men do not want to compromise. I feel like that as a woman. I really do feel like that.
What she's referring to is this man has a program. This man showed up with his program and asked her who she was dating. That was the other thing. She says, we were dating for a while. Or only for, she'll say, then another time she'll say, we were only dating for a little while or some short time. But she doesn't say how long that is. And that's intentional. She doesn't want to tell you that they were actually dating for a significant number of months, but she's just referring to it as a short while, but won't tell you what the time frame was because she wants to keep that out because it doesn't fit her narrative. If you actually hear whatever the number is, she actually would give the amount of time that they were together. She knows that undercuts her narrative. So she intentionally leaves that out, just like she intentionally leaves out making the point that this man was willing to pay her way as all modern women think they deserve and supposedly desire. Uh, but this brother, it sounds like this Jamaican man, and we can again assume and infer that this is a black man because by default somebody says Jamaican, they're talking about black people unless they say otherwise. Of course, there are Indian Jamaicans. There are probably some white. I'm sure there are white Jamaicans, But if somebody says Jamaican, that's a black person unless they say otherwise. So uh, with that, we can continue to just understand here that this is a man who's come in. He says, "I'm here. I'm willing to provide, but you have to get on my program. I'm going to lead. I'm going to be the head of this household. Here's the program. Get with it or get gone." And you're going to see that he has a get gone.
Cause like even with my situation, I was like, I don't know too much about, I told him straight up, like, I don't know about uprooting and moving to a whole
Mm-hmm.
nother state with you just yet while we're still in the dating process, like just in
Right,
this
right, right.
early dating phase. But I was like, I work remote, let me
Mm-hmm.
compromise and come spend like a couple of months down there with you, come back because I have business up here
Mm-hmm.
in Atlanta, whatever. I got a house
Yeah.
and everything like that. So for me, that was my way of compromising with that. And he was just like, nah, that
He
ain't
didn't
gonna
want to do
work.
that.
No, he was like, nah, I need you to be with me. I need you to be with me. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Some
Yeah.
crazy shit, you know?
Yeah. Maybe he's looking for something totally different. Maybe he wants a woman, who has something else going on.
Okay, so I would say I would actually personally probably would have been with her on that compromise. Um, if she's willing to come down and check it out for 2 months. She could work remotely, but I guess at the same time, he's thinking again. See, she's not going to give you the whole picture. She's not going to tell you the parts of the story, the parts of how the relationship was going that doesn't fit the narrative of this guy's a weirdo and somehow she was done wrong by having a man offering his home to her, offering to pay her way. Somehow he's still just wronger than a mug. Of course, the man is always in the wrong. Point blank. Period. Every dude's a weirdo. We're all creepy. We're all always wrong. We're all always at fault for any ending to any relationship. And it sounds pretty good to me, but probably the situation was that they were at a point in the relationship where it's either you're all in or you're out. We're doing this or we're not doing this. Personally, I would never have somebody move in with me, uh, unless we were getting married. But I guess in this guy's case, if he was willing to do that, it sounds pretty good to me that she'd come down for a little while, and then hopefully the idea would be after the couple months we just continue it. She'd see, hey, this is popping, this is working, let's continue. But again, probably the case was that he didn't want to. He wanted her all in or all out. You getting on the program or you get gone. And he said when she didn't get on the program, he said get gone, and he's going to go find the person who's going to be his person to be with. And he would like women don't want their time wasted. Men don't want their time wasted either. This is probably a guy who's a little bit older, climbing the corporate ladder. He's trying to do what he's trying to do. You're not going to get with the program, you get on. And but yeah, I wouldn't be moving women into your household. Uh, keep her in her house. You stay in yours. If you're not married, you don't need to be combining your financial situation. And also, if she happened to have kids, that could be a really bad thing. Once you start taking care of a woman's kids, in some states, the family court laws, which we know are unjust against men and is not equal protection under the law for men, in some states, they have it such that once you start taking care of a child, even if it's not your biological child, you did not adopt that child. Once you start taking care of them, you can then be legally expected to continue to have to take care of that child. You have taken on that obligation, and in the state's mind is they don't want that obligation coming back onto the state. So since you've taken up that obligation, you can keep it going even though you and the mother are not together anymore. It's not your child, you and the mother are not together anymore. You could still have to continue to pay for that child. So that's the kind of a side note thing, fellas. Watch out for that. We got a little bit more we're going to hear from waves, ripples and waves, and DeeDee.
I think it's important to communicate what it is you want to. If you're a guy, or if you're a dude, or if you're a
He
woman
did
and you want
communicate
certain things
clearly.
from you got to
Told her what
let that be
he
known up
wanted.
front. You got to let them know, look, I'm looking for a woman who's going to work with me, or a woman who's going to do this or do that, whatever it is. I think that should be something that you explain to the person so they'll know. And if that's not what they want, you don't have to waste your time. I'm big on not wasting other people's time, because life is short. So
that didn't happen like initially when we first started dating. That happened like in the middle of the dating
Right.
process,
Okay.
She's
So it
not
was
telling
just
you how
like,
long.
it was like in the middle of the relationship. It was just kind of like, oh, I got this big job. I'm going to move here. You need to come with me. I was like, we hadn't even really been dating that long. That's kind of
Right.
hard. That, to me, that's kind of hard to make that decision like that. You know what
Right.
I'm
So he
saying?
just
When you just,
basically wanted you to uproot your life and go where he was. And that's not something he was
yeah.
prepared to do at that point in time.
No, ma'am.
Now, I don't have a problem with the DeeDee's uh, her position that she's taken here, even though from a man's perspective, I would not agree with some of what she's saying. But we have to understand that DeeDee's a really nice person. I've seen her on her lives where somebody comes in saying really crazy stuff, and the question didn't even make sense, and she took the guy's question, turned it into a question that made sense just so she could give him a nice answer. Where I would have been like, "Man, get off my live." But that's the kind of person she is. She's going to identify with her caller, and she's not here to be confrontational, so she doesn't really confront her guests. Unless they say something really off the wall she didn't like, then maybe so. But she doesn't look to confront her guests. She looks to, identify with them. So that's what she's doing here. My push back to what is going on here. I think he made himself clear as to what he wanted, and she wasn't with it. She wanted to do her own thing. He was trying to get her to get on his program. She wasn't with that, so he wasn't with continuing.
I think
Right.
we would have had more chance to talk about. We would have had more opportunity to go through different things, experiences in a
Right.
relationship, because you have
Yeah.
to go through certain things to learn people. And
Mm-hmm.
then at the same time, I think that you know uh, we both have assets and stuff out here in
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, so we could have better figured out how to work that
Right.
situation out before making the move to a whole nother state.
Right.
But
Her.
to just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
my thing is, I don't mind being calculated. I don't mind letting a man lead, but I'm like, just up on the spur of the moment, expect somebody to jump ship. That's strange to me, And then like,
I get it.
you know, to me, that's just strange,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I mean, so
Yep. I understand that.
that boy said I sound controlling.
He
I'm
ain't
not
lying.
controlling. I'm just real calculated. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to do spur of the moment stuff. I don't,
Well,
like I
and
said,
especially
yeah,
if it's like something
yeah.
major. You know what I mean? It's not like where we gonna go eat. That's easy. But I'm like to just uproot you like that and y'all.
Okay, I think we've heard enough of what's happening here. You got the the gist of it. That was the main thing there. I think Whipples and Waves. So as it went along, this is what you also have to understand. I can't remember if she said it on the live or she came down in the comments and said it later. As it went on, it came out uh, that she was talking about. She's not dating it right now, but she said that earlier. And then she's talking about she still hasn't found anybody to replace that guy since he was apparently so bad or so weird and whatever. But she's got a promotion at her job since then, and she's very happy. So I was like, okay, gotcha. You chose career over uh, family and marriage and having a man and going on down the road of life and being happy. You chose, again, you did the modern woman thing, the quintessential modern woman thing, and you chose career over family. You made that choice. You got the results of the choice that you wanted. Should be happy with that. She says she was. But yeah, kind of sounds like Whipples and Waves might be preparing to buy a dog and die alone. Maybe not. But she seems like a pretty cool person. Maybe she'll find somebody else. Maybe next time she'll go ahead and get on that man's program and not be by herself. But sounds like she's more interested in her career success and who she can be in the corporate world rather than who she can be in the family world. Well, I'm out on this one. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment, go ahead and like and subscribe for me. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can come back for more. It'll really help me out with the algorithm and help this channel to grow and keep getting this message out to you. Like and subscribe. Thanks.